Yeah, I'm just on.
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah,
Welcome.
I'm just on my way to find the bench because I've just been for some acupuncture. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Very good. But we'll take your time. We have just a few moments just to say hello to everyone and welcome to another spiritual hour, Tuesday spiritual hour. And we're very lucky to have Andrew Craig Watt, talking to us today about his process that he went through during AYAHUSCA. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. It was a 3-day experience, and it sounds very, very interesting. So we're all going to enjoy listening to that. Yeah, and also some of the things that Andrew was talking about in the WhatsApp group made me think of sangomas in South Africa. They seem to go through that process as well. So I haven't done it myself, but my sister-in-law did it. She became a sangoma, or a white witch, they called her. But yeah, so she said it was quite an intense process, but it did clear out so much stuff. She was very, very good psychic as well, psychic medium. So she used to answer me. Like, I didn't actually ask her question, but I was thinking it, and she would finish talking to somebody, turn to me, answer my question, even though I hadn't actually verbalized it, and then talking to somebody. She was like that. Very interesting. Yeah. So acupuncture, Andrew, what was that all about? How was that? What was that?
Well, what I'm going to say today is, like, obviously ayahuasca is. I think there's a right time for everyone to take it, and I think you've got to have done a fair bit of work to make it easier. I mean, some people want to go through a difficult period and do ayahuasca, and others, like, you've got to do a bit of work anyway before you go into it, which will make it easier. There's sickness and puking, of course, involved, and I just feel if you do a bit of the groundwork, yeah, and this acupuncture is part of that. So I've been releasing trauma through acupuncture with this woman who can use her intuition and visualizations when you're on the bench. Things come up to you as the client, but she also says, so she'll say something like, so 7-year-old, what happened? And then you'll say, I remember, yeah, I was bullied, or yeah, I had a sexual trauma or something. And then she'll dig a bit deeper, and then you'll dig and dig. So she helps you in your subconscious, like, dig out these traumas while you're being healed with acupuncture. And she also takes your pulse and looks at your tongue, and she knows which organs will need which needs the needles from that. And then, yeah, you go through the traumas, and I've been through about, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 traumas, including one which was like when I was a kid, like I was 18 months old. I didn't even remember, but there was hot coffee spilt on me by accident, and I was rushed to a medical center with my parents. Who would remember that 18 months old?
Okay, so she's identified where the problems are coming from, and then working through them. Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Has anybody else here on the call had acupuncture? Rebecca?
Yeah, I've had acupuncture. Very very effective.
Oh, good.
But it wasn't done with an emotional, like you just described, Andrew. It was literally just the physical issue that I had.
Okay, good. Well, that's good. It's good to know that it worked. Definitely.
So can I just ask a question then, Andrew? So when you say you had this trauma at 18 months, did you then remember it through her tapping into it, or was it a feeling in the body, or how did you experience it?
Sometimes, like, things just come to you, like it's your subconscious coming to the top, and it's like knowing, like, the flight's going to be cancelled or something. It was a sense of knowing, which was a psychic ability, perhaps, but also years ago, my parents have said, oh yeah, you had this issue. So basically, it was a trauma that I can't remember directly, but I was told by other people, and it just came to me. So yeah, there's no tangible way to say how I knew, but I just knew. It's a psychic ability, basically.
Right. Yeah.
Good, good. All right. So, Andrew, you still looking for a place to sit down and that sort of thing. So, I will do a little bit of talking about some other things, and then we'll come back to you when you're ready. Okay.
Yeah, literally, I'll be 3 minutes. I can see the chair.
Oh,
ahead.
oh,
Yeah.
you can see one. Okay. No, that's
Yeah.
good. Good to know. I just felt like we were you were multitasking.
Yeah, no, but I can see where. Yeah, I'll be there in a few minutes.
Okay. No, that's fine. Okay. So, acupuncture and reflexology is another one that I think that works on the pressure points of the feet. Has anybody here done that? Have you tried that?
Yes.
Yeah, and a big smile. So that was good for
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. I
And
find it the most deeply relaxing way of just going within but staying awake. I mean, the odd time I did fall asleep, but I tried very, very hard to not,
yeah,
just so that I could feel it all. But that's been incredible. Yeah, released all sorts of stuff. Been really good.
wonderful. And you, Joanne, was it good for you? Did you experience it?
Yeah, I've absolutely loved reflexology. And then recently I found a Chinese acupuncturist because of my hair loss. And she's been really good. However, she did something that really upset me. So she was saying, "Oh, it's not coming back quick enough for me," and really judging me. And I was just like, no, 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 no. Don't make me feel that.
Yeah.
Don't, and she was, because my hormones have been really disrupted this year. And she was like, well, you're too young. You're too young. And the whole "you're too young" is like, she's again making me feel,
Yeah.
not, she's not empowering me. She's just making me feel very little.
Yeah.
So I have been back to her. I almost nearly told her off, actually.
Yeah.
But and I have back. I don't know if I will go back to her. I'm away at the moment, and I don't know if I'll go back to her.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And is English her first language? I was just wondering if she's not able to.
No, she is originally, she's from China. She's been here many, many, many years though. So it's not an excuse to give that. But in Chinese medicine, this is what's supposed to happen. Well, and I'm here because I believe in that, but I have to work with me.
Yeah, exactly.
And when people don't work with you,
where and she needs to meet you where you're at.
Yes, exactly. Rather than make me feel worse.
Absolutely. Good. Okay. So Andrew, are you ready to tell us all about your experience?
Yes. Okay. So, like I say, ayahuasca, there's a certain time to do it, and I think you'll know inside when the right time is. And I think the universe will also provide you with the opportunities, and you'll meet people who want to share their experiences bit by bit. So I think you'll know when the right time is. However, there are practical things as well, which I'll like to talk about. So today, I'll talk about a bit about the structure of the ceremony, and the diet is very important. A lot of things you don't know about until you speak to someone who's done it, and the benefits, which I finished on Sunday, and I've felt the benefits already. It's kind of instant, I've got to say, and the important things that make a good ceremony as well, because as you all may know, that ayahuasca, different people do it in different ways. It's from different parts of the Amazon. It's from different parts of Aboriginal cultures. So they all have different ways of doing it. And then you've got the modern people who want to make money from it, and they often want to do it with as least effort as possible. So there's different ways, but the experience I had at the weekend was probably the best experience in Europe without being the Amazon itself. So it was with a shaman from Colombia, and it was in the middle of nowhere in Norway, in the north of 45 minutes from Oslo, and it was in a cabin, and there was 30 people there who were all patients or clients, patients with that, and that's quite a lot of people. So again, that's something that you need to judge as well, like how many people are going to be there, because in a ceremony there will be negative energies that you will experience, your own, but I also felt other people's emotions as well. So if you are a very sensitive person, I'd recommend for you to have a smaller group, like no more than 10. But number one is you want a real shaman. You want an authentic shaman, ideally from the Amazon. Again, ship them over here. It's you've got to be there at the right time. And this guy has been here for 2 or 3 weeks, so he's got like 2 or 3 ceremonies. So this ceremony was over 3 days. It was Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. So the ceremony happens in the evening, and it happens at 10 o'clock. So what you need to do before the ceremony is you need to fast 3 or 4 hours before the ayahuasca is taken, and also 3 or 4 days before the ceremony. It's good to not eat any spices, no salt, no pepper, no chocolate, no dried fruit. Try to make it as bland as possible. So I ate like beans, rice, cheese, eggs, meat's fine, chicken and fish is recommended, cheese and bread, but just not much flavor. You can eat butter, but so I'll struggle to get any flavor into my food. But yeah, it really cleanses that out in your stomach, because ayahuasca, sorry, I'm a bit in the clouds, as you can probably see. Ayahuasca is ultimately plant medicine, and you take it and you drink it, and it goes into the stomach, and it also has hallucinogenic properties as well. So what I learned was ayahuasca cleans the stomach, but it also gives you hallucinogenic experience, so that your subconscious is like activated, and if you were blocking things before, the hallucinogenics kind of makes it easier to release from the mind and the subconscious, so that it can be released. And often that comes physically as a puking, and you also trip. So like you can lose the sense of who you are, for example, which is why it's really important to be grounded. So yeah, I'm an engineer, and I try to have things a bit structured. So if anyone's got any questions before I go further, please let me know.
Any questions? Anyone? No. Oh yes, Rebecca.
Do they? So how do you ingest it? Oh, you said it was a drink. Is it a drink and something you eat? And do they sort of measure it according to how much you weigh, or right? Okay.
Oh yeah. So so yeah. There's 3 ceremonies, and they take the same procedure of drinking. So when I explain one ceremony, it's the same for everyone. So you go in, and everyone takes a cup, and it's a liquid, but it's a liquid of plant medicine. It is grainy, but it's a liquid, and you drink it, and it's not pleasant. It's salty. It's a bit like soy sauce. Yeah, I'd say soy sauce with grains, and you down it, and then you go and sit on your mattress, because we're all in the same room, and there's music being played by guitarists, and it's there's very light, very candlelight. So you take that liquid, and everyone takes the same. You take one to begin with, and then you sit and you wait. And if you don't get any experience in the next hour, pretty much you go back for another one. And I had maximum of 2, and that was enough for me. So the first night I took 2. Second night I was really out of it from the first night, so I took 1, and I still had a trip. And then the third night I took 2 again, because I waited for an hour, and I got no feeling. So you'll know in your gut instinct. There isn't really anyone there to say, oh, you should take this, this, and this. But if you feel no effect, you need to take another one, because otherwise it's a waste of time. Because you don't want to be sat in a room sober. I call it sober because you're not tripping. You don't want to be sat in a room watching everyone puking up and like making noises, because it's easy. Yeah, you can see what they're going through, because when you're in a trip and you see that's part of your own healing process. And when you're tripping and you hear all these noises and stuff, and you feel the negative energy, that's part of the process. And it is difficult, but you're protected. Your angels and guides are there for sure, and you're in your own. If you're in your own trip, then you don't really notice that so much. And the music helps you so much.
Right. Thank you.
Did that answer your question, or is there anything else?
Yeah, very much so. Thank you. Yeah.
So I'm going to continue, and I'm just looking at my book to see how I can do this. So yeah, at 10 o'clock in the evening, you take the cup, 1 cup, and then you sit down. Like I say, everyone's on a mattress, and you've got things that make you comfortable, because ultimately when you're tripping, you want to lay down sometimes. But I didn't meditate at all when I was tripping. I wanted to feel comfortable because my stomach was in pain. That's another thing. Like, because it's physical, it's cleaning out your stomach, so you may feel pains there. But that's part of the process. And to be comfortable with your stomach, you want to lie down like when you're a child and you've got a stomach problem. So it reminded me a lot of being sick as a kid, but this time you're taking the medicine to actually feel that. So my experience, I wasn't sick until the 3rd session, right, and the 3rd night. And I think that's due to the diet and me doing a lot of work beforehand. But everyone else was being sick, and I was laughing. Other people laugh as well because people make so funny noises and stuff. And by laughing, I was trying to raise the vibration in the room as well. I wasn't taking the piss out of people, you know. I was just being like a kid, you know. So look at him, and yeah, you know, it was very playful. But a lot of people had so much stuff to puke up, and I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke, so there's no toxins in my body. So I think that's the reason why I wasn't puking up at the beginning until like the 3rd session on the Sunday and the Saturday evening. So again, more work you do beforehand to cleanse your system, then the less puking you'll be doing. Yeah, so time goes quite quick while you're on this hallucinogenic trip. And let's have a look. Yeah, so the shaman is singing. His voice was so beautiful. And then there's 2 or 3 other facilitators. They all take turns doing the music because obviously it's like a marathon. It lasts from 10 p.m. till 5 a.m. Right, that's the tripping period. And then after that, you've got between 5 and 6 when you eat breakfast. So like I say, you fast 4 hours before. So you fast between 5 p.m. and say 10 p.m. And then you hallucinate. You're not allowed to eat at all. You just have the drink, the medicine, that's it. And then in the morning, between 5 and 6, you have breakfast, which could be, you have some eggs, some cheese, some bread, some oatmeal, blueberries. That's all done by the facilitators. They bring that to you. And so then after that, you want to sleep. You've had your breakfast, like, oh God, I just want to sleep. I want to have some peace. So you go back to your dormitory. There was like 7 or 8 people, very peaceful. With my dormitory, everyone was wonderful, beautiful people. Everyone just like went out for the count basically. And you sleep for about 4 hours, and then you wake up and it's ready for. Then you're like ready to start your day again. So you're up at like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. And you might be hungry again, or you might want to go for a swim. There was lakes nearby. You go walk in nature, or you just hang out with other people. But basically, you just want to take it easy, and then the ceremony starts again the next day at 10 o'clock, and you have some food at around 5 p.m. Yeah. So that's it. It sounds quite intense. It's a bit of a marathon, but honestly, you have loads of energy. You know, you can also sleep during the day if you want to, but I didn't want to sleep. 4 hours was enough sleep, and then you go again, and you know, you make your intention. I wasn't sure. Do you make your intention before you take the medicine of what you want to do? Well, I did in the first session, but for the other 2, I didn't. So if I can summarize like my 3 sessions that I had. The first session, I said, right, okay, these are my intentions. I want to heal some past traumas that are causing me physical problems. And the second thing was I wanted to know more about my path and about my healing abilities. And the third one was, yeah, like I'd like to connect to the divine or the Pleiadians and stuff like that. And all my wishes came true. They told me, the Pleiadians or the divine told me in that first session that you're here to learn. You're here for your past trauma release, but everyone else was mainly there for the past trauma release. But they said to me that you're a teacher, you're a spiritual teacher in this life, and we want you to learn, and you can choose actually how you feel in the ceremony. And they said, we recommend in the second session for you to only take one, and you can recover, and then the third one you do whatever you want, whatever you feel. So not everyone had that. I had a lot of communication. You guys know that I haven't had a great connection with the Akashic records, so this was maybe the key to opening my connection to the divine. So yeah, I feel very privileged about that. So I kind of felt the energy from the Pleiadians, and I asked some questions, and then I realized when I asked the question that I knew the answer already inside me. So that was kind of cool. They also showed me like the music was really cool. So I've had visualizations of spiders, right? I've been scared for spiders most of my life, but in this visualization, like they were telling me, you can work with the spiders energetically in your healing methods. And the spiders started dancing with me when the music was going on. And then they were showing me in the visualization that I can tickle the spiders under their belly and under their pincers, right, which shows that they're very vulnerable. And then they started dancing, and they started like being very vulnerable towards me. And so I can remove etheric spiders from people's traumas, I believe. And I felt like I was healing people in the session. So they were mentoring me in the session, healing people. So that was cool. That was so cool. And yeah, it showed me that I had a lot of shame in my sexual organs, shame and guilt from my past traumas. So yeah, the first session was really cool. Oh yeah, and I felt the psychic abilities that I had. I felt I could read other people's thoughts, and then it scared me a little bit. Like I had the feeling that, oh God, I hope this doesn't last forever. That's a big thing about ayahuasca. You might think that you're trapped in a loop because you're hallucinating, but it doesn't last forever, and it passes after, like say after about 6 hours. So yeah, that was the first session. Second session was, like I say, it was quite light, generic, because I only took 1 cup. And I didn't really learn much, actually. It was just a nice, light, hallucinogenic session. I started dancing. I was dancing in the room as well, because like I say, there's music being played. I was tapping my foot. I was beating my arms and stuff, clapping. I was very in a high frequency, and like a lot of other people were going through shit, and I was trying to raise the frequency because they were mourning. I tell you what I felt. In that room, the women were going through sorrow and the men were going through anger, and I could really feel that. And that was shown by the guys shouting and puking up violently, and the women were just mourning and in a lot of sorrow. Yeah, that's what I learned. But again, I could feel it, but it was like arm's length. I was in my little cocoon, and it was almost like my angels and guides were saying, look, you can see it, but you're not going to get too close, because this is not your shit. You can learn from it, because you know how other people feels, so you can have compassion. And then the third one, yeah, it was probably the most powerful I had on Sunday, or Saturday evening even. And basically, yeah, I had second cup, and I started feeling a bit of psychosis. I felt like my thoughts were meaningless, and I felt like there's this TV series called Black Mirror, and some of them episodes, they describe what psychosis is, because you're in an endless loop of thinking, and you can't feel yourself. You don't know who you are. And now I know how that feels. So I had that for about 5-10 minutes, and I was scared, but not petrified. And I just felt, okay, I need to get out of this. So my solution was, I went up to the facilitator and I said, I'm really scared. But I was very calm when I was saying this. And I just said, like, can I hug you? Can I hold your hand? And can you make me feel secure? Because I feel very vulnerable. I feel like a child. And they said, yeah. So I was just hugging and cuddling, and the ceremony was going on. And I just needed reassurance. So, psychosis isn't that bad. It's something that if you're not grounded, then you can get into that. So I learned that as well. I learned that not being grounded, you can be up in the air. And when you're up in the air, it's not a good place to be. So I had that. And then another big part of that ceremony on the third ceremony was the puking up. I puked up for the first time. So the first 2, nothing. And this was the last 2 hours of the third session. So right at the end of my ceremony over the 3 days. And I felt this stomach ache, and then I felt an immense pain. And then I felt this energy shoot up all the way up my esophagus and then come out my mouth, and it right into the bucket. You have buckets as well for the sickness, of course, right? And it came out so violently, and I'm sure it was an entity. It was a demon. And then afterwards, I also I puked up again, and that was just like real anger coming out that the entity had inside my stomach. So I've suffered from anxiety a lot of my life, and you know, it's got worse in the last 3 years, which has proven to me if you don't deal with something, it builds up and builds up. And the anxiety was in the stomach, as that was the demon was in the stomach. So this proves to me that your stomach is affected, it has an effect to your brain, right? We always know about the vagus nerve, and this brain is connected to the brain in the stomach. So I've learned this firsthand by feeling it, and it came out. And now I feel so grounded, and I can feel the heat in my feet. And since Sunday, you know, I feel very different. I feel hungover and a bit dizzy, but I feel like there's been a big shift. So yeah, that's it really. From the ceremony. Yeah, I've got more to say, but I thought I'd give you, if you've got any questions before I move on.
I was just going to say that's a good idea. And welcome, Moira. Does anybody have any questions for Andrew? I've got a couple. So I just was wondering if, so did you notice that out of the 30 people, you know, that women were dealing with sorrow and men were dealing with anger, but within that were there differences? So each individual experienced their own demons or demons of sorrow and things like that. Okay.
Yeah, and each person has their different way of expressing that. I realized that I didn't have to release that much apart from at the end, and I did that with a violent puking. So some people were very quiet throughout the whole ceremony and didn't let themselves go. And it's funny, I could tell the difference between some people puking normally and some people puking the demonic shit. So there's two guys I know who had so much demonic shit inside them, and there's one or two women who had the moaning. And yeah, I felt in my head saying, please shut the fuck up. Right? That's not very nice at all, right? But that was my ego probably. But
if you're sensitive, like you said, I'm very sensitive. So somebody crying constantly, that would really affect me. I know, because they sound in distress, and I'm personally designed to cope to feel people's distress. I know that. So that would really be pushing my buttons. But it's very, very interesting. So that is did you say you lost 2 demons that day? You removed 2 demons, or 1?
Well, it's hard to say. It could have been 1 or 2, but originally the demon came out, and then some negative energy came out after that. It could have been some residue of that particular demon, but it was angry. I think it was so angry. First of all, the demon came out, and then like it was shouting as it came out. It was saying, "Well, what are you doing? Like, I've been here for ages," and I'm like, "Fuck off, get out." Sorry, I'm swearing because I think the anger's still releasing. To be honest, yeah.
No, and demons do swear, so well done for not swearing so much. But I remember having an Akashic record reading with a young lady who had a demon attached. I sent her to you. And then I had another follow-on reading with her. And she said to me, when you released the demon from her, it swore at her and it called her every name under the sun. And it was absolutely, furious that you released it. So she actually heard the words that it was swearing at her, and she heard it. But if I remember at the time, you said that you hadn't actually heard the demon, but this time you heard the demon leaving you and the swearing. So now you probably know what it's going to be like for people that you clear their demons away, and that's what they could experience. But I was also wondering if so the demon that you released, it hadn't been something that you'd picked up since you started clearing other people's demons away. Did it tell you it had been there a long time?
Yeah, I feel that, and the main reason I can say that is I felt the pain, and I think you feel the pain when something's been blocked and locked and not released for a long time. And then I asked my subconscious using muscle testing. I said, how long's it been there? And it was there since 6 or 7, which is when I kind of had a childhood sexual trauma, which was about me sexual. I was well, you don't need to know, but basically I was experimenting with my penis in a mattress when I was like 6 or 7, as young kids do, and there was a lot of shame and guilt from that. And now I realized I was just a little kid playing with a penis. That's what kids do, innit?
Exactly, perfectly natural. But society makes you have these feelings that it's not okay, and I don't know what you mean. Yeah. Okay. Good. So yeah, so that was my other question. And then my last question is, have you tried connecting to your higher self since you've cleared this away? Because I know you had a little bit of a block with your higher self, and I was just wondering if now you can open up and really get that connection that I was just hoping.
Yeah, I haven't tried yet because I feel like I'm still recovering. I feel like I've been knocked out a little bit. So what I did, I activated my Merkaba literally before the first session, and I do feel that helped, especially with protection and stuff. But yeah, to be honest, I know that I've got a lot of stuff to do. I start a new job in engineering next Monday. So what I learned from this session is grounding is so bloody important. And when I was during that psychosis, I was like, okay, stuff the spiritual work for a little bit, you know, because this job and being in the earth and being in trees and the food is so important that my head was in the clouds, and that caused my anxiety. So I was like, okay, once bitten, don't go back too quickly. So that's what I learned. But now that the entity's out from my stomach, it means I won't be in the clouds anymore. So there's nothing to be afraid of when I get into the spiritual work again. But yeah, in the next week or two, I'll be connecting to that stuff.
Yeah, this is for the second time today. I'm going to use the words divine timing. Listen to that divine timing, and if it's not right, then wait for the right time, because when you're ready to do that work again, then do it. Yeah, you're right. Don't push it. Very good.
Yeah.
Good. Does anybody else have any questions?
Moira's in the chat. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
Because I missed the beginning, but did you get to actually eat and wash whilst you were there for 3 days, or were you all stinking mess by the end of it? Because that would upset me. It would really, really upset me.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's not a problem. Eating is fine. There's very little fasting, and once you're in the process, you can choose whether to eat and fast or not. But they provide all the food. They provide breakfast and a meal at around 5 p.m., which is about 5 hours before the ceremony, which starts at 10 p.m. So, and yeah, the showers are there. You can shower as much as you want. And I didn't sweat one bit. Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh, wow, amazing. And then to the beginning bit, because I had a client go through this process years ago, and it was very interesting. She just had so many revelations about her life, etc., and healed a lot of big issues. So that's amazing, the fact that you're able to heal a really big issue as well there. And then what else happened at the beginning part of it and stuff? Because obviously I missed that bit. Is there anything that I missed that was juicy?
Yeah, so the third session was where I released this entity at the end. And the first session was where I got a lot of teachings from the divine and a lot of messages from Pleiadians. And it's so funny. Like, I think the Akashic records were open. This is answers your Catherine, your message, your question as well. The Akashic records were open in the first session, and it was almost like a question and answers. And it was so funny because as soon as I asked the question, the answer came to me. It was already inside me. And I said, "Oh, can I connect to the Pleiadians, please?" So your ego was present in the first session, but it wasn't present in the two other sessions. So like it was like a question and answers, and like the Pleiadians wouldn't show me them visually, right? But they showed me like roots or like a liquid like flowing in a jar. Like that's how they showed me what they were, and it was like bubbles moving up in a red liquid. It was like almost like if you visualize blood in tissue and blood cells rising up. That's what the Pleiadians showed me. Blood flowing through tissue and rising, going up, and that's and then they started communicating with me.
Very good. Very good. Okay, and Joanne had a question.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I was going to ask, obviously I can't get to Norway and do all what you've done, but like to work, if you were to guide someone to release the anxiety, like the things that you talked about, how would you now suggest someone do that without obviously going to Norway and doing this ceremony?
Okay, so I guess you'd want to find a ceremony close to home, and I'm sure there are many. And yeah, I've got to be careful what I say here because Googling ayahuasca ceremonies, it's not legal in many countries, of course. So it's under the radar. I think
I guess I meant more like if you were to guide someone through it yourself, Like what's the teaching? Because that resonated with me when you said it's in the gut, and it's coming out. And so is that something that you would guide, say, me to go down and ask the gut to release any anxiety, anything that was, what lessons?
Okay, so are you asking me how you can have the same experience as me without taking ayahuasca?
Yes,
doing it a different way. Okay, well, straight away, what I would say is you'd go the physical route, do the detoxes, go and see homeopaths, use the herbs. For me, energy medicine wasn't enough. When I say energy medicine, I mean like Reiki and all this. It wasn't enough to deal with the stomach. So deal with the detox, focus on the detoxes, on the energy, on the plant medicines, on, even a lot of Amazonia, you can smoke stuff. It's called rapé, I think. There's also, there's different ways. There's frog medicine where they burn your skin. Yeah. But I would say focus on the physical and focus on the detoxing. Go to homeopaths and get deep medicines for the stomach to detox it.
Okay. Thank you.
Good. And Moira has put in the chat that Lillian knows of somewhere that does it in the UK. So if anybody listening needs that information, we can get that from Jen. Ayahuasca, Jen. Yeah. But interesting to know about the detoxing as well, Andrew. Everybody recommends detoxing, and this is an extra reason why. Doing the cleansing, juice cleanses and things. Probably an extra reason to do that. Yeah.
So just on that topic, so they say the stomach is the second brain. So is this whole system to basically deal? So you felt the demon coming out of your stomach. Do you think it started off in the brain, or did it settle in the stomach because? Well, I don't know. What am I saying? What is the question I'm saying? No. I have heard, a lot about the stomach being the second brain, and there's an awful lot about if you treat your your biomes and all that stuff. You've got to have good bacteria and all that, and it's becoming more widely known.
I think that, there's a history in my family of a weak stomach. My father suffered from it. My brother suffered from it. I didn't know until the session that it was a real issue for me. In the last 3 years, my anxiety went through the roof. So I think it's finally cracked for me. So my answer, I think when I was 6 or 7, I think there's a lot of shame and emotional issues going on. And those emotions resonated, settled in the stomach. And then over the last 30 years, that's been growing and growing, and as you know, entities feed off negative emotion. So then those emotions turned into an entity, and that demonic entity just grew and grew over the years, and it's been fed off, sugar and foods going into the stomach, and then it grew to what it is today. That's my answer.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, thank you.
Good. Yes, Moira.
I was going to say, and that's mad as well, Andrew, because you're so good at clearing yourself, and you have been so clear. You've been like 100% light, for however long. I don't know when you. I know that you then may have stopped doing the easy entity release and all that kind of stuff, or whatever. I can't remember what you call it exactly. But that is very interesting how it hid away from you, right? The little bugger.
Yeah, I think some entities. Yeah, this is what I've learned. Some entities go so deep into the body that I can't do it. That's why I think easy entity release is a good light level of clearing, and some people need that. But to go even deeper, you've got to go in the physical. Ayahuasca deals with the physical, spiritual, emotional, all in one, and that's why I think it's such a powerful experience. And I'm still going to be searching for other methods to release stuff. But this is hardcore, and it works.
Did you have anyone that didn't have a good experience, Andrew, or that kind of came out going, well, I didn't really feel much, or did everyone was everyone blown away?
I think everyone was knocked for 6, and some people went through hell and they felt pure evil in their bodies, and they puked up pure evil. I didn't feel that, thankfully, because I've done a lot of work myself. So, like I said, that's why I said at the beginning that you need to do this. You need to do as much work as you can with other modalities before you're ready for this. And I'm sure the universe will tell you when you're ready, because it'll bring it to you.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ready quite yet. I always feel a bit fearful whenever thinking about it.
Yes, Joanne.
Can I ask you now, so how are you feeling now? Like, are you triggered by anything? How do you feel about life now?
Yeah, I feel really grounded, and my head's not up in the clouds anymore, and that's what anxiety is. I learned that anxiety is a distorted illusion of reality. By the way, my words these days, I feel much more strong. My throat chakra is so strong. So yeah, I think it's a distortion, it's a distorted illusion of reality. And if your head's in the clouds, then you can't be on Earth. We need to be on Earth to do our work. That's why we're here. We're not here to be in the spiritual world all the time. That's what I've learned. It's a lot of shit. If you go to the spiritual world too long, you'll end up with psychosis. That's what I've learned. Yeah.
Yeah. I was interested in what you were saying about like telepathy. You could hear other people's thoughts as well, when you were in the process. Just because when I speak to the guides, they say that it's only really on Earth that people that we don't share our thoughts with everybody. When you're everywhere else, like all the Palladians can hear each other's thoughts. They're like all telepathic, and they all sort of think on the same path and that sort of thing. So you must have gone through something to be able to hear other people's thoughts. And can you still hear them now?
No, that's what scared me in the first session. Like I said to them, oh, this is scary. I don't want to hear these thoughts all the time. And they said, oh yeah, don't worry, it'll pass, because that's part of the hallucination. So everything was amplified in that first session. When you're tripping, everything's amplified. So thoughts were amplified, and thoughts were really dense energy. So I realize now how thinking too much can bring you down. So I don't want to be spiritually connected to records and psychic abilities all the time. It'll make me go insane. And that's what I felt. So yeah, I felt how it. If you're in the clouds all the time, I felt how it is, and it's horrible actually.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyway.
Oh, good. Okay. So, any other questions, anyone? Did you want to say anything more, Andrew?
No. Well, to be honest, like, yeah, there's probably more I could say. I can say it in another session, but and I've written down a lot of benefits and stuff. So maybe I could send some of the stuff I've written in a Facebook post or something on your Catherine Tack thing. But yeah, to summarize, you know, the musicians were amazing. The music really helps balance the energy of the dark spirits in the session, and you can dance to release stuff as well. So you can shake and dance and get rid of it that way as well. And yeah, I just feel like really grounded, and I know what my truth is now. And yeah, there's a lot of positive benefits. I fasted for 48 hours after the last session as well, by the way, because when you know what the root cause to your suffering is, so root cause to anxiety for the majority of people is in the stomach because of all the parasites and the bacteria and stuff. So when you know that, you don't want to put any food in for a while, because once that demon was released, I just wanted to heal, and the best way to heal is not to put anything else in that cauldron. The stomach is the cauldron, and if you're putting portions and salt and pepper and spices in there, then the demon, that's what the demon fed off. So I wanted my stomach to feel empty while the demon was gone, so it could heal for a bit. So yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Wonderful. We've got a question from Moira. How often do they recommend you do the process?
They didn't recommend it at all, actually. I was thinking of this as well, but I think when the opportunity comes again by the universe, then I would give it at least 3 months, to be fair. And I think the seasons of the year are quite important. I think summer was perfect to do it. So yeah, 3 months, 6 months, I would say. But then again, you can fast track it. You know, it depends on how much shit you want to get rid of. So like, you know, it's up to the person. If they want to fast track it, they could do it even quicker. But for me, I know that I was there for learning, and I had a bit of trauma to release. So yeah, for me, I might do it again in 6 months to a year,
Yeah.
but I'm in no rush. Yeah.
Well, no, of course, that makes sense. Okay, well, if you are all ready, we can end the session with a lovely prayer, if everybody's happy to do that. Okay. All right. But I first just want to say thank you so much, Andrew, for sharing your experience. It's just been amazing to hear, you know, from somebody that we know what the process was like, what happened. So sorry about all the questions, but I think it was really, really helpful. And I know I got a lot out of it. I understand a lot more now, so I really appreciate it. And I think everybody on this call will, and people that watch the video will also. So thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I just like to say, like, you know, plant medicines and mushrooms and hallucinogenics have a bad rap, and people get scared of them. And this for me was, like I say, there's nothing that reaches the physical, emotional, and mental in a way. For me, was the plant medicine. Think of it as medicine, and these people, you know, parents from the 70s, 80s, and 90s think that people are going to be, you know, cracking up and going psychotic and stuff. Yes, that happens to a very small amount of people, but I think most people can take this personally.
Yeah, and it wasn't in a controlled environment where you had people on standby to help you and that sort of thing as well. So yeah, good.
Yes, exactly. And the music, like the live music, was amazing. And the right, yeah, you basically need to get the environment correct. And you need to do your research. But it's so funny, isn't it? Because it's a taboo subject, it's illegal, right? So how do you get the balance of getting people's testimonials? Well, word of mouth. And I'm telling everyone about what I've been through in Norway. So I'm sure they'll go to one of these ceremonies again because it's the real deal. But, you know, there's some people in Holland that go into a room and with a so-called shaman and they listen to the music on a recording and then they take the medicine. For me, it's not going to get anywhere. You're not going to feel as safe. You know, again, the more safe you feel, the more you're going to release and the more you'll get out of it.
Yeah. 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 Do it properly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. Thank you very much. I've been approached by a few people to say a prayer for them at our weekly sessions so that they can have a group mind coming together and just praying for them. So I'll just take everybody through that. And if you could just now hold in your mind the people that need a little bit of help that we're going to pray for. And that can be yourself as well. If you've got a problem that you need assistance with, then do feel free to, you know, put your own name forward for help. Help for assistance. Okay, so let's just once again start to feel the earth beneath our feet, the chair at our back, and just breathe in nicely. I know Andrew's busy walking, but I'm sure he's with us in spirit. So let's just feel that energy of Mother Earth coming up, grounding us, like Andrew said so many times today. So important to be grounded. And as far as I'm aware, all the people on the call today are starseeds, and that is very important for us to ground ourselves into Mother Earth. So just focus on the inside of your eyelids, that soft velvetiness as we go in, and down, down, down. Let's go all the way down to the center of the earth and bring up that beautiful crystalline energy. Let's bring that up through our chakra system. Let's breathe that into the count of 10. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Let's do that one more time and focus on Mother Earth, how she loves you unconditionally, how she wishes to support and nurture you all of your years. Let's just breathe that into the count of 10. And release. And in our mind's eye, we're going to travel up, up, up now. Let's go all the way up until we find the energy of the sun behind the sun. And let's bring that living light intelligence down, 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 all the way down through our chakras. Let's count to 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Do that one more time. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. And just notice how the energy from the earth meets the energy from the sky inside each and every one of your chakras, just lighting them up like big, bright, beautiful stars. Well done. Just listen to my voice now. We give thanks for the opportunity to be in this place of service to each other and to the Creator. We thank the angelic realm, the beings of 100% light, for being present in our work today. We ask for complete alignment with our higher selves. And it is our desire now to remove all veils of perception, filters that we are able to remove right now. We ask to remove all negativity, seen or unseen, for our highest good and for the highest good of those around us. We ask for the codes and energy transmissions we need in order to make us aware and to clear and remove all the veils that are stopping us from making the most of our human experience. We now release these veils and our attachments to our old limiting ways of perception. We allow ourselves to live free of conditioning, and we allow ourselves to see, feel, and walk in truth. We ask our spiritual guide team to protect us and to hold the space for us so that we can easily receive this energy transformation. We pray now also for those who are struggling with different ailments, maybe trials and tribulations, anything that might have been brought forward in their third dimension. We pray for those who need a little extra help to push through the darkness. And we ask that the angels and archangels help them by easing their burdens for them, showing them the light, showing them ways around, over, sometimes through their problems. Please help them to find ways to ease their suffering and find ways to raise their own vibration so that each one can heal themselves and then in turn have the strength and fortitude to heal others also. We ask that each one here be transported to an etheric retreat this night so that we can further receive healing and training appropriate for each of us, any upgrades available. We ask them to be brought forward. We ask for a good night's sleep and that we awake refreshed, and we ask for a benevolent outcome today for ourselves and those we care about. Thank you. Amen. Okay, well done, everyone. So we seem to have lost Andrew, but I'm sure he will listen to the replay at some point. So thank you all for joining me with the prayer and for being here today. It's always so magical to see you all. Yeah, so if there's any other questions, obviously during the week, and we will obviously answer those. I just had this, just one more question in the chat from Moira. You heard it also depends on the shaman. If they're not really evolved, then that's not good. Oh, you were just talking about, sorry, I only just saw your message now. Okay, well done everyone. Have a magical rest of your week, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Okay, take care. Have a good rest of your day. Bye. Bye.